It's hard to believe, but it is. It's a Saturday morning and it's 9 o'clock. Yes, it's time for a Monster Magic Saturday show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Good morning, everybody. Well, it looks like we had spring last week and we've gone straight back to winter. But it's time for some lovely, lovely magic reviews. And I think I've got quite a good smorgasbord for you to choose from today. And first up, it is the Coin Teapot by TCC. This has been out a little while and it's sort of fascinated me a little bit. I'm not a big coin guy. The effect is that you have this little brass teapot and inside you put $4.50. You can then mime pouring the coin out into your palm, and one by one the coins will appear in your hand and come out of the teapot. It's a terrific idea. The idea is, generally speaking, let me let you in on the secret. It is a Boston coin box. There are lots of different types of coin boxes. There are slot boxes, Akito boxes. This is the Boston version. I'm guessing it gets its name from George Boston, who published this idea in Bobo's Coin Magic back in 1952. Whether it was genuinely his idea or not, I'm not sure. It might predate him. But the general idea is it is a coin box. I'm not a big fan of coin boxes on the whole, although Sean Goodman's got a beautiful coin box out that he completely fooled me with his routine. So I have warmed to them. I'm just not a big coin guy. And I can't help but think that the box is somehow gimmicked. And in a way, this one is gimmicked in the fact that the difference between a Boston coin box and an Akito box and other boxes, that is, I hope I'm not giving too much away, is that there is a recess at the bottom, and this allows you to do some holdouts and some other nice moves that perhaps you can't do with a standard coin box. And this is the teapot itself. I really like the teapot. It's kind of slightly oriental and mystical. And I think this is what I really like about this, is the thing about the coin boxes are, they do look a bit odd. They're easy to justify because we're magicians and we carry things around, and you might carry your precious coins around in a brass box. Sort of makes sense. Doesn't really matter. I love introducing quirky objects. And I think what this does is accentuate that it's a quirky object. So it becomes more of a focus. You know, I suppose it's painting red. What you're doing is the general idea. It's lovely. It's brass. It makes a nice chinky noise. It is perfect for your $half, and it will fit an expanded shell as well, if that's what your Boston coin routine requires. There are lots and lots of resources for Boston box routines. Sean Goodman, as I mentioned, has a lot of coin work on coin boxes. I'm not sure if he does a Boston one, but if you just look at David Roth, who popularized the coin boxes and the slot box as well, Doug Brewer, Rubenstein, any of those big coin guy names, you'll find something on the Boston box, and you can just pick and choose your routine. The tutorial, despite only being 10 minutes long, is surprisingly good. It is one of those things that TCC sometimes aren't too good at. In this case, I think they've pretty much nailed it. He talks about the box for a little bit, and then he runs through his routine, which has got some very nice moves in it. Not always the easiest moves in the world, I have to say, but very, very good ones and deceptive ones, drawing on Roth and Rubenstein mainly. And it's very well taught. You know, it's really nice visual, lots of different angles, and you will be able to do it from that. And I've had a lot of fun learning that routine. Some of the sleights obviously I already knew, such as a shuttle pass and a classic palm, but there are others that were completely new to me, and I had a lot of fun learning them, especially the ones that are sort of quirky to actual coin boxes, which is an area of field really that I haven't really studied. So that was great. And actually I've kind of really warmed to the idea of perhaps performing a coin routine with this little teapot, because it is so cute, it is curious, it's nice to hand out, it can be examined because there's no sort of gimmicking as such. And of course you can do research into other perhaps easier coin box routines if you wish. Of course, being TCC, the teapot is beautifully made. It is brass, it's very heavy, well, not very heavy, but it's got a good weight to it. I really like it. I have to say, this little teapot has brought a little bit of joy into my day. I've really enjoyed practicing it. I've really enjoyed learning the routine. Super tempted to start carrying it around. I normally only do things like the Charming Chinese Challenge and much easier coin stuff, but I really like this. Yeah, and I think it's kind of reignited a little bit in me for coin magic, which, you know, sometimes is just a little bit too difficult and unexciting for me to stick with. I'm going to enjoy researching some different routines and some different moves, and maybe try and simplify the odd move here or there. And who knows, you might see me performing the Coin Teapot. But that is the Coin Teapot by TCC, $42.99. Next up, we have the mysterious string phone by Proma. This is a nice little quirky trick. The premise is that you have two paper cups that are empty and have a string tied between them in the classic old telephone style. You put a coin into one of the phones, and with a bit of pull on the string, it comes out the other cup. It's super charming, I think. I was kind of baffled by it when I saw the trailer. I sort of knew vaguely what must be going on, but not quite sure how it exactly worked. And I've been really pleasantly surprised by this. You can borrow the coin. There's nothing funny about the coin. It works with reasonably big coins, actually, in a wide variety of coins. 10p's, 2p's, 50p's in England will all work just fine. And what you get in here are the cups. Oh, hang on a second. Plus, let me tip them out. Are a few cups. So these are the two gimmicked cups. These are the cups all set up, ready to go. They are a little smaller than I thought they would be, but yeah, they're great little cups. And the tutorial is surprisingly good for just how simple this effect is. And I love the solution. I love how clean it looks. Unfortunately, these can't be examined, but they can be very cleanly shown. You know, the coin can just be dropped in. The participant can drop the coin in. It can be borrowed. You can even have the coin land in their hand. The participant can hold one of the cups and have the coin pop out into their hand, which just adds that little bit of power to it. They do also provide you with 4 extra cups. Now, how you use these is up to you. You can use them to set up, again, a very similar setup. So you can thread 2 strings between these two, and then you can have these examined at the start. When you're having the coin borrowed, you can swap them out for the gimmicked ones should you wish, or you can just keep them as spares in case you sit on your other cups. I haven't been around to check whether or not you can find cups these size, but these are literally just pretty standard cups, but you might have trouble getting them to fit the gimmick. So probably measure these if you're going to try and find some, and see if you can get them on eBay or Amazon. I think it's a really good, fun trick. You can obviously introduce it as playing on those phones that you used to make as a child with the cups and a teleportation device, whatever you like. Sort of reminds me a little bit of something that Tenyo might bring out. The tutorial, which is 20 minutes long, covers so much, from the knack of actually performing the trick, but also the repair of the gimmicks. You get this pot, which is a very, very sturdy... Oh, you get the extra string, sorry. Oop. There's the extra string to making up your ungimmicked set, should you wish. And this pot is perfect for carrying them around in safely. They've really considered it. They talk about the maintenance, how to remake it. The tutorial is excellent. And for such a trick that is quite simple and easy to put together, I'm really impressed with Proma for going the extra mile and making sure that they give you all of the knowledge and all of the tips that they can. I think it's a great product and value for money. The only real downside is that you can only do one coin, and then you'll have to reset it. So you can't do multiple coins. So you can't. It's very hard to get a multiple phased routine out of it. Possibly, if you do some sleight of hand, you might be able to surreptitiously load and unload the cups, but that's going a little further than what it's designed for. It's a quirky, quick little coin trick that won't break the bank, and I think it's been really made with care and passion by Proma. That is the mysterious string phone by Proma Magic, £22.50. Before we go any further, I must confess I forgot to do a competition to win the Paradox Cube by Crazy Sam and Henry Harrius. Completely slipped my mind last week, but you can enter it now this week. All you have to do is to leave in the comments a anecdote about how you once messed something up, but tried to correct it so that no one would know that you'd done it. Could be something you've done at work, could be something you've done at home, a bit of dodgy DIY, anything you like. So something that you've messed up and then tried to cover your tracks. Pop it down in the comments and I will draw you out of the wok or the saucepan, depending on whatever takes my fancy. Next up, it's In Flight by David Regal. Okay, yes, I'm a big David Regal fan. I think the way he thinks, the way he presents magic is just absolutely terrific. And this is his take on the tossed out deck. What happens is you have a participant up on stage with you and you give him a deck of cards in the box. You ask them to take them out of the box. You ask them to make sure they're all different and to give them a mix. You then put 2 elastic bands around the deck and you have him go to 3 spectators, and each participant gets to select a card by riffling one end of the deck. They all then stand up and you get to name the 3 cards that they have chosen, and they dramatically sit down and you get a massive round of applause. Yes, it remains very true to what you think of when you think of the tossed out deck, all the way back to David Hoy's original presentation, I think, which was from the bold and subtle miracles of Dr. Foss back in 1960, early 60s. But I think it probably predates him. I think he just presented it how it's now done. The idea of having cards selected and the ruse of naming 3 cards from one deck definitely precedes him, and it probably goes back into the turn of the century. But what David has added to it is the moment at the very beginning where you can have the deck handed to the participant on stage. He checks all the cards are different and he gives them a mix, and then without any switching, you just put the bands on and he goes out and has the cards selected. So there's no switch involved, but the cards can be examined and mixed to start off with. And that is the genius of this trick, and what makes it heads and tails above many of the others. I've been doing a tossed out deck. I do it with a switch. I have the cards. I'm with David on this, and he talks a lot about this in the tutorial, where having something examined before you do anything is much better than at the end, when they're asked to sort of re-examine any thoughts they may have had through the trick, because you've just sort of, you know, they've been wondering whether it's a trick deck, but now they're fine. But if they know it's not a trick deck right from the start, you have nailed the whole thing. They can just sit back and enjoy it, and they can't try and figure out how it's done. It's much better to have anything inspected at the start of any routine, and that's what David's added without the switch. The method to do that, and I mean, I can try and show you the deck, but there's not much you get. So in here, you get the elastic bands. You get 2 elastic bands. Oh, no, you don't. You get 3. You get 3 of these strong elastic bands. As David says, always carry 2 because one might break, and then you're good to go. And then in here, you get the deck as well, and the deck is gimmicked. It's gimmicked in a combination of ways. Nothing new in each gimmicking methods, but it's the way the two methods are combined that allows the deck to be examined mixed, and the methods still be surefire. The other thing that David talks about is the other part of this method is audience management, and that is often the big thing about doing the tossed out deck. I have had it happen before. I've performed tossed out deck quite a lot in various guises, where someone hasn't selected the card as per my instruction, and consequently they have been left standing. So that can happen, but David covers exactly how to prevent that, and he does it in a way that makes it very, very clear how to have the card selected. It's selected in the usual manner of pretty much every tossed out deck. David has a sort of a fun, interesting presentational style that means everyone's going to do it in exactly the same way. He also has a little bit of audience management over the mixing up of the cards, which again, I think they can mix these really, really freely, to be honest. So that's not too big an issue. And then he talks about the presentation of how to get the most power of having people standing up and having people sit down. The tutorial is terrific for learning all of that, as well as just how to use the deck. Just watching the live performance of David at the Magic Castle performing it, you will see exactly how he does it and exactly all of the little points he talks about. Let me just quickly show you the deck, which, although I wouldn't say it's not groundbreaking, it's not revolutionary, but it is very well made. So there you go. You can go through all of the cards. You can mix them up as you wish. It's absolutely fine, and the trick will always work. If you're looking for a trick deck that's going to push the boundaries of what you've ever seen before, this isn't it. But if you want a deck that's very simple and clean to handle, and you can just hand to a participant, have them examine it, have them mix it, and then go out and do a tossed out deck without you touching the deck, then really this is it. It is as simple and as clean as a tossed out deck can be, in my book. Just because of the nature of the routine, you probably aren't going to be doing this close up with three mates down the pub. It does require a parlour size audience. Really, that is the only drawback. Otherwise, the quality of the deck, the quality of the teaching, and the routine that I will attribute to David Hoy just make it an absolute brilliant card trick. That is In Flight by David Regal, 36.99. Next up, we've got Spectral by Adriano Zanetti. This is, I guess, a new take on the old ashes to palm. You have your participant hold out one of their hands in a closed fist, and you heat up the tines on a fork and you brand your palm with it. You then make a magical gesture, and when the participant opens their palm, they have the branding on their hand. There we go. Yes, it is very much the basis of the old ashes tricks. That became Double Cross by Mark Southworth and Magic Smith. Adriano describes it as if the ashes and Double Cross had a love child, which I guess is close, but it's possibly a little bit of the runt of the litter, if you ask me. I'm not quite sure what is really going on here. It seems a step backwards to me. What made Double Cross so good and still still one of the best-selling magic tricks in the world, I'm sure, is it's a permanent marker. You draw the cross on your hand, you then remove the cross from your hand and you throw it onto their palm. There's a definite transposition of that cross. This takes it back to the old Ash's trick really, but you can't remove it from your hand. So you're both ended up with the mark on, which is a slightly different effect. And he does talk about that, and he talks about it being voodoo and so on, and just a mirroring. But for me, it's just not as strong like that. And also the idea of heating up a fork and branding your palm is a very odd thing to do as well. Certainly for me, I've just burnt myself on a hot plug actually, and it wasn't much fun. I think the idea of actually getting anything hot enough to actually leave a mark on your hand is not good. But obviously it's a magic trick, so you don't heat it up that much. And it really is just to justify getting the lighter out. Let me show you what you get in here. So this is basically the main gimmick. What you need to do is to get yourself a mini Bic lighter, any mini Bic lighter, pop it into the gimmick, and you are good to go. Pretty much straight out of the box. A little bit like Double Cross. You will need a couple of extra things that you get in here should you need to refill it and so on after a while, but it's good to go straight out of the box. And it is very easy to use. The method is essentially the same as the old Ash's trick. There's nothing new there. What is interesting is that he does point out that you don't have to leave the 4 marks of the tines. You can orientate the gimmick to leave just one line. So if you haven't got a fork, you can do it with a key perhaps, or even a knife. So there might be some versatility in this that I'm not quite getting. For me, as you know, a regular, reasonably sort of funny, light-hearted close-up magician, it's just not for me. I'm guessing if you do a bit of voodoo or a bit of seance work, or you're a mentalism who wear dark clothes and so on, this might fit your style. It's not for me. I just don't understand why you would do this over the Ashes or Double Cross, quite frankly. It's not that any of it's bad. The gimmick is well made. It's nice that you get everything you need to refill it should you need to after lots and lots of performances. The tutorial is very thorough. It's just not as good as the alternatives, unfortunately. That is Spectral by Adriano Zanetti, 38.99. And finally, we have Lucky String by JL Magic. This has been a surprisingly big hit, and it's a lovely little trick. You show that you have 4 pieces of string and you tie a ring to one of the pieces, and then you can insert a banknote through the ring as well. You then hold them in your hand and you ask your participant to pull the strings. They pull 3 of them. They're all the short ones, and you are left holding the one with the ring and the note tied onto. It's a great little presentation, very similar obviously to Hook by Eric Ross, and I mentioned not in method but in idea, and also my Chase the Lace, which by me, which is based on an old rope trick. Very similar plots, and it's a great plot. It's drawing lots, just short stick and all of that. It's been around for ages, and it's always a little bit of fun. You do get a hook. This hook isn't really explained in the tutorial, which is a massive 1 minute 24 seconds long. So there's a hook. I'm guessing that is so you can do something similar to Hook. You get the ring, which is fine. If you can borrow the ring if you wish, and they can win the ring back. It's a novelty ring. I don't think even Claire's Accessories would sell this, but it's there. And then you get the strings, and these are gimmicked, but gimmicked beautifully. It is invisible. and that is great. Obviously, the ones that your participant draw, they are left holding them. They can examine those. They just can't examine the string that you are left with. It is really, really clean. It's a really, really simple idea, which is why the tutorial only has to be 1 minute 24 seconds long. It's nice that you can tie it all on and do all the preparation in front of your participant as well. Yeah, I think it's really nice. It's not quite self-working, but as good as. If you play with it for a couple of minutes, you will be absolutely good to go. There's not really any skill or sleights involved. The big surprise for me was just at how well the gimmick hides in plain sight, even close up. Even when you know you're holding the gimmick, you cannot see it. That really did blow my mind a little bit, and also just how short the tutorial is. The one thing that I really wish was that JL had taken a little bit from promo with the cups and just spent a little bit more time on just explaining how the trick works and how to present it, and perhaps giving you some tips. But it is a lovely, straightforward trick with a great hook and a great presentation. That is Lucky String by JL Magic, $29.99.
He shouldn't have jumped. The show's not that bad.
And that's it for this week's show. I hope you've enjoyed the buffet of magic. Just one card trick this week, so hopefully it all felt a little bit different and a little bit new. But come on, it's the weekend. Throw off the bed covers, grab some magic, and go out there and have some fun with the best hobby in the world. Bye-bye.